Donald Trump's newly appointed Attorney General just made her first move, and it's sending shockwaves through Washington, D.C. Critics call her very presence under Trump wildly corrupt and improper, but it's her day one action that is amplifying the alarms. Please stand by as I have the breakdown on this breaking story for you next. Pam Bondi is a Trump defender and loyal sycophant.
Thank you, President Trump. I've known you for many, many years, and I will not let you down.
Who was sworn in as Attorney General after the Senate confirmed her in a 54-46 vote. John Fetterman of Pennsylvania was the lone Democrat who voted in her favor, and the reason for the very partisan split will be revealed, along with her very sketchy day one action at the command of Trump, in just a minute. But first, speaking of sketchy, let's look at this other action involving the Trump Bondi cabal. Watch as the president of chaos, while wearing more bronzer than a sorority chapter on spring break, rambles on in delivering the bizarre news about his latest creation.
I'm announcing that I will be creating a brand new presidential commission on religious liberty. It's going to be a very big deal, which will work tirelessly to uphold this most fundamental right. Unfortunately, in recent years, we've seen this sacred liberty threatened like never before in American history. There's nothing happened like the last 4 years. What's happened with so many things have gone bad. But religion, what they've done, and the persecution that they've executed have been just horrible. To confront such weaponization and religious persecution, today I'm signing an executive order to make our Attorney General, who's a great person, she's going to be a great Attorney General, Pam Bondi, the head of a task force, brand new, to eradicate anti-Christian bias. About time, right? Anti-Christian bias. Yeah, you never heard of that one before, right? But it's about time, isn't it, though, really? So many times you hear, but you don't hear the anti-Christian bias. The mission of this task force will be to immediately halt all forms of anti-Christian targeting and discrimination within the federal government, including at the DOJ, which was absolutely terrible, the IRS, the FBI, terrible. The Scripture tells us all things are possible. Well, look at me. I'm standing before you today. I shouldn't be here. You know, you could say it's a miracle, or you could say something, but it was God that saved me.
So Trump just mentioned religious persecution, but the Department of Justice and FBI already plays a significant role in investigating and prosecuting religious hate crimes. They protect individuals and religious institutions from discrimination, harassment, and violence based on religion. But he specifically mentioned eradicating anti-Christian bias. No mention of anti-Jewish bias, no mention of anti-Muslim bias, just anti-Christian bias. A cynic might think that this is yet another nod to those in Trump world who reside at the intersection of white and Christian nationalism. On any other day, something like that would be headline news. But in the Donald Trump matrix of madness, it takes a backseat to this news about Bondi's day one action at the behest of Trump. Have a listen as he introduces her with a lie wrapped in sarcasm, followed by a breakdown of her move by legal analyst Ellie Honig.
I want you to listen to something that President Trump said today as Pam Bondi was being sworn in inside the Oval Office.
I know I'm supposed to say she's going to be totally impartial with respect to Democrats, and I think she will be as impartial as a person can be. I'm not sure if there's a possibility of totally, but she's going to be as total as you can get.
We saw her in her first full day today, mostly full day, I guess I should say. Ellie, what are you watching for in terms of what the DOJ looks like under Attorney General Pam Bondi?
Well, the thing that jumped out to me today, Caitlin, is essentially Pam Bondi's first act in office is to order an investigation of the January 6th and the classified documents prosecution of Donald Trump. That is an outrageous thing to do on your first day. If you're trying to restore DOJ's equilibrium and establish this as a non-political place, that is an overtly political quest. And by the way, let me spoil a secret and tell you how it's going to come out. Someday, 6, 8, 10 months from now, we're going to get a report and they're going to say those prosecutions of Donald Trump were wildly corrupt and political and improper. It won't come out any other way. Keep in mind that many of the bosses of DOJ represented Donald Trump in those very same criminal cases. Look, Donald Trump won the election. Those cases were dismissed. They won. They should leave well alone. And I do not think it's good for morale or for the independence of DOJ for Pam Bondi to come in on day one and order that.
Honig said outrageous as if he was surprised, but she's been signaling this move for some time via her conspiracy-laden appearances on Fox News. And the threats that you'll see are why Democrats, except for Fetterman, sought to defeat her nomination.
It's really unbelievable what they're doing.
Right.
They are obstructing the candidate, President Donald Trump.
The Department of Justice, the prosecutors will be prosecuted, the bad ones. The investigators will be investigated because the deep state, last term for President Trump, they were hiding in the shadows. But now they have a spotlight on them, and they can all be investigated.
And so it begins, the full-scale weaponization of the Department of Justice under Donald Trump. When he's not fantasizing about adding Canada, Greenland, and Gaza to his real estate portfolio, he's focused on something that is dangerous to our democracy. That is, using the power of government for revenge. This isn't just speculation, it's a pattern that is playing out in real time. His new Attorney General, like his appointees before and after, aren't there to uphold the law. They are there to carry out his personal vendettas. With an enemies list in hand and marching orders from the top, the DOJ is being twisted into a tool for retribution against anyone who has ever dared cross the wannabe dictator. I'm Dan, thanks for watching, and now I want to know what you think. Please comment below, and let's continue to occupy democracy together.